Hey, extraordinary family. If you're new here, welcome. Today's video is going to be about how my channel grew in 7 days by being obedient to God and hearing his voice. So let's get into it. So I want to explain to you guys how during the Christmas holiday that God came to me and told me to give to someone in my group, in my marriage family group as a gift for Christmas. But first, I want to explain before I tell the story, I want to explain to you how I knew it was God's voice and identifying God's voice because that is something I feel like people don't really know. When I was in my 20s, I really didn't know about the voice that was coming to me all the time because it's been happening since I was in my 20s. I wouldn't listen to the voice, things would happen. But as I got older, I learned how to identify the voice and listen to the voice. And I'm gonna give you a couple of scriptures to let you know how God's voice how you know that it's God's voice. So the first thing I want to say is that I knew it was God's voice because it told me to give a gift on Christmas. So what I mean by that is it wanted the voice had came to me and it said, "Hey, bless this person on Christmas Day with a day of rest." And I was like, "Okay, cool." I didn't pay any attention to it at first, but think about it. I was sitting, I was laying in the bed. I wasn't thinking of anything to pretty much give or do. I was so worried about my family and what I was going to do for them for Christmas. I wasn't really worried about serving anyone else. But when the voice came to me, it caught my attention. And the voice is always a whisper. It's always a light whisper. And how I know it's God's voice is because everything around me, like the TV, any static noise, it goes away. I can't hear anything but the voice. And it's like a slow whisper, and it's not it doesn't yell, it doesn't, no, it's just a nice whisper. So that's how I know, the first how reason how I know that I can identify that it's God's voice. Second way how I can identify that it's God's voice is because it's of good service. Like, it's something good. It's not nothing bad. God is not going to tell you to do anything bad. He's not going to tell you to hurt people. He's not going to tell you to steal. He's not going to tell you to do anything that isn't good. So if it comes from God, you know that it's good. And if God wants me to give to someone or do something, hey, I know that it's good. So in Genesis 1, chapter 1, verse 1, God created the heavens and the earth. He created the world, and he was separating the light from the darkness. And every time he created something in Genesis, at the end, he kept saying, and that's when God noticed it was good. That's when God noticed or said that it was good. So anything that comes from God or anything that he creates or he tell you to do is going to be of light. It's going to be good. So that's the second way how I identify. So the first way, it was a voice, a small whisper that came to me, and it was like my focus and my presence was only on the voice. Second, how I knew it was God's voice is because it was good. It was something that I had to do for God, and I knew that it was good. The third way how I knew that it was God's, how I identified that it was God's voice, is because when I finally really thought about it, at the time, after I kind of like thought about it, it was a peace. I wasn't worried. It wasn't any pressure. Like, the voice didn't come to me and was yelling or like pressing me or like, like, it didn't cause me any chaotic or any anxiety behind the action that needed to be done. I just looked at my bank account and was like, okay, it's a little tight. But at the end of the day, I was like, I'm gonna listen to God's voice. And I know that God can give me anything that I can ever even imagine. So I don't have to worry about. That's what you have to do. You have to give without worrying about what's going to happen on the back end. My kids were taken care of, all the gifts I already needed. This was just money that was sitting in my account that was going to, but at the end of the day, I didn't take it out the budget to pay for anything that needed to be. But I was like, hey, I'm going to do what God says, and I'm not going to worry about what needs to be done or if a bill come up and I don't have the extra money. I'm just going to do what God said, and All I know is I have to be obedient. I have to listen. And those are three ways I understood and identified that it was God's voice. Is because I didn't have any, the third reason I didn't have any chaotic or any anxiety behind giving on doing what he said. I was led by the Spirit, and I just was like, I'm going to do it regardless. Because when you want to live your life by the will of God, it doesn't matter. You kind of be like, okay, whatever you want me to do, God, I got it. And this is what I'm going to do. So that's how I was really obedient and listening to his voice and identifying it. So let's go back into the story time. So I was sitting in my room in like November, and I was just shopping and just thinking, and a voice came to me and was like, bless this person in your group, and God is going to, and you have, and this person is needed, and this is what you need to do. So I was like, okay, like this is what I'm going to do. But it was in November. So the closer that that December 25th was coming, the voice kept coming back, but it still was a nice, light little whisper. So I was like, I'm not going to forget to do it. I'm going to do it. So I think like maybe the 24th of December, I did that. I gave the gift. I did exactly what it said. It was a day of rest. And I gave the person the gift. And guess what? The voice left. I didn't hear the voice again. I didn't. It, After I did what I was supposed to do, and that's another reason how you know it's from God, because once you be obedient, you just have a sense of peace. It's the sense of relaxation. I didn't have any regret the next day. I wasn't like, oh, none of that. It was just like, you give the gift, it is what it is, and I wasn't worried about anything. So I'm going to tell you exactly what happened once I did what God wanted me to do. But I want to read from Galatians, and I want to read chapter 6, verse 9. And it says, so let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. Therefore, whenever we have the opportunity, we should do good to everyone, especially those in the family of faith. So remember, I told you that the person I did it for was a part of my church group. So, that just gave me, when I read that this week, it just made me think like, okay, I, even though I didn't have any regret, that I knew that for a fact that that's what I supposed to have did. That's how another reason how I knew, bonus, that it was what it was. I was being obedient to what God wanted me to do. So now I'm going to tell you, once the next day I recorded and did everything I need to do, my first video got almost 950 something views. The second day, my video got 1,000 views. Then, and you gotta, if you go to my channel, you'll see that all my views before Christmas Day was at like, maybe I had one video at like 500, but all the videos, before that was like at 200, 100, maybe 30, 40. My videos wasn't getting traction. And I know a lot of you would say, oh, it was the algorithm. No, God is my algorithm. God is the one that's blessing me, and he's nothing can happen unless God wants it to happen. So after that, one of my videos went to 1,700. Then my subs was growing. In 7 days, I went from 9 to 10 subs to almost 43 to 45 subs. I just want to let you guys know that I'm thankful for you joining the extraordinary family, and I appreciate it. Percentage like grew in the last 7 days. And I knew by being obedient, I have been praying, God, give me your wisdom. God, tell me what you want me to do. How can I reach your people? What can I do? So I knew this blessing came from God, and for me to serve you guys and letting you know, hey, I'm being an example. You have to be obedient to God. You have to listen to him. You have to do what he wants you to do. And what's in this Bible, you have to meditate on it, because your life will be aligned. And ever since I've, been in my faith and taking it serious for the last, 5 or 6 years, I have been aligned. So listen to God's voice, be obedient, and the things you are praying for, the things you are asking for, your health, your finances, your wealth, your marriage, all them things God can make better. He can create the way. And that's the end of this video. So make sure you Like, comment, and subscribe. But remember, be obedient to God. Recognize if you're hearing his voice. Remember that his voice is not loud, it's not aggressive, it's not going to tell you to hurt, it's not going to tell you to do anything that is illegal or anything that you're not supposed to do. And after you do what God wants you to do, you will get a sense of peace. All right, stay extraordinary.